would be able to provide clearer instructions to potential citizens that wish to undertake a referendum if they so choose. Because it was cloudy water that everybody was swimming in when this occurred. Nobody ever did this before.
It wasn't so cloudy because in 2007, this county faced
That's what the
a
Uniontown School
referendum.
District
That's
does.
correct.
Plus, it's not common because we have.
So it's not the first time.
You have the election code. It is basically a summary of the election code.
Right.
Clearly, it was not followed.
And I would like to introduce 25 PS at section 2936. And 2936 reads as follows.
For a second, Rob.
Yes.
Solicitor, I have to run, so I'll return the chair to Commissioner Zapatowski.
Very good, sir, thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll continue with 25 PS at 2936, and it states the following. When any nomination petition, nomination certificate, or nomination paper, and this was a petition, they go off the rules of the election code, referendum petitions for nomination petitions, is presented in the office of the Secretary of the Commonwealth or of any county board of elections for filing within the period limited by this act, it shall be the duty of the said officer or board to examine same. An examination period never took place. A legal notice for an official examination period never ran. No nomination petition, nomination paper, or nomination certificate shall be permitted to be filed. Shall not be permitted to be filed if A, it contains material errors or defects apparent on the face thereof.
Which goes back
Which
to...
goes back to no dates that opposite the names of any of signatories to the petitions
Which goes back to the agency.
or accompanying affidavits. Well, you keep referring to the agency, Commissioner Zapatowski, and that's fine because the complaint does not just involve State Representative Tim Mahoney's filing and notarization of the affidavit.
And when
It
you-
involves the agency.
Your complaint, that's why this isn't about right
It's
before
not
an
about
election.
politics.
This is
I never said it
irregularity.
was.
This is
No, I'm not saying that you did. Your colleague
This is
did.
irregularities for the entire process, and those irregularities and processes and procedures you're indicating has not been followed internally by our office.
That's
okay?
correct.
But you also have to, if you feel that there were electional irregularities or fraud, you have to give us those as well.
Exactly.
We will.
Right, those are the
We're
ones we
getting
can
to
not
those.
handle. We can move on to the DA if deemed.
I'm
appropriate.
getting to those
Right.
shortly.
The ones that are within our realm, which is our election office, we need to address.
Okay, getting
Correct.
back to the timeline, and we're going to get to the area of 410. And we do have videotape that we obtained through a right-to-know law request with then right-to-know law officer Tammy Boyle. And at 4:10 p.m. on August 9th, Representative Mahoney enters the Fayette County Courthouse, and there goes my screensaver, via the front entrance. He is carrying with him, that we know now, 48 affidavits of circulator. Out of the 50 affidavits
Blank.
of circulator, 2 of those affidavits of circulator are already notarized and accepted in 2 minutes by Mr. Blosser, their time stamper, his members of his office staff, at 4:12. Those are the Clipper affidavits which were notarized over in South Union, and that must have arrived with the petitions that were filed from 4:04 to 4:07 p.m. The requirement that these be appended when offered for filing could not have possibly been met because Representative Mahoney gets 48 affidavits of circulator notarized by Lance Winterhalter's, the Prothonotari's office, absent the petitions being present, the petitions to which the affidavits are attesting in that office.
Counselor, if I may, and I just have one issue here. Mr. Mahoney is not here to defend himself, nor does he have any representation here to defend these allegations. I mean, we're throwing this around as if it's fact. I mean, not disputing him by any means.
Well, you can't dispute the
You want to see
videotape.
the video? I have it
But
right
Mr.
here.
Mahoney's entitled to walk in the courthouse as you are.
Well, and then you can have a hearing.
But my point
Have a
being
hearing
is-
and call
my
subpoena
point-
witnesses and let's get it on the record and
My point
we'll
is-
testify to what we
My-
have and it'll
if-
all be
if I
under
may-
oath.
Okay.
As it should be.
We've referred the 2 previous cases to the district attorney. I don't feel that Mr. Mahoney is here to defend himself, nor does he have legal.
He's not on trial here today.
Well, you're bringing up the fact that he has committed election impropriety.
You said that we could make a presentation.
We said suspected,
But the presentation is now moving into, he is violating certain aspects of this process.
we have not
Which-
made that allegation.
Well,
We're saying
We're saying
suspected
this is the information you were to
irregularities.
investigate it to see what it means.
It's just, you're damned
You know.
if you do and you're damned if you
I mean,
don't.
don't put words in my
Because
mouth.
Because had this been placed on the agenda and legal notice and all parties involved, then he would
Absolutely.
be here. But you already heard that that wasn't going to happen,
Right.
okay? Because of Robert's rules, Commissioner Ambrosini, whomever else.
Right.
So now you're here.
No, I'm
Give-
Commissioner
give me-
Zapatowski,
give-
not whomever
No,
else.
I don't want to say what you said if you didn't say it, so I'm not going to put words in your mouth. So, and I recall what Commissioner Ambrosini said. So the point is, just move on.
Okay. 410, he enters the courthouse with, via the front entrance, we have it on videotape, wherein he's carrying papers. We know that to be 48 affidavits of circulator,
And you know that that's for
factually,
sure.
because we know that there were 40 affidavits of, 42 affidavits of circulator that appended to each of the petitions. 2 of the clippers were appended to petition numbered 1 and 2,
And where is this video at?
right here.
And you could say without certainty that there are affidavits in his possession.
Absolutely, because not only are they subsequently notarized, right here, they're notarized
Oh, come on.
by, well, that's number 2. but
Lance
number 3
Winterhalter's
by Lance
office.
Winterhalter's office, and the signed by State Representative Tim Mahoney.
Oh, I just didn't know if you could see them from the video, that's all.
No,
No, you
them
can't
from the
see
video,
them.
But we know that he,
I don't think there's any dispute that
Right.
he left here, got them notarized, and brought them
Yeah,
back.
I mean, that's
Right.
been established.
right, absolutely.
But what we are saying is that at that time that he left, that he left the petition, he may have returned earlier with all of the 42 petitions, but those 42 petitions
This is State Representative
remained.
Mahoney entering, and you can see the time, we'll freeze it.
They
Up
remained
at
here.
16:10, which is military time. It's 4:10 and 23 seconds on August 9th, 2011.
The petitions were on file here.
And there he is
Stamped.
waving at security. And I mean, there's not, I believe the gentleman's working today. Actually, you know, if we had subpoena power, we could actually ask him to verify that that was
So in
State
other words, what you're
Representative
saying is the
Mahoney.
petitions were already here and he had the affidavit.
Right, petitions were
That's right.
finalized.
They were
being
filed.
date stamped, as filed at 4:07. He's walking in 3 minutes later. He couldn't possibly have the petitions unless Mr. Blosser allowed those out of his sight. Whenever I come down to view anybody's petitions or any other matters, an office personnel person is there by my side. I can't not even look at it without them over me because of the sensitive nature
Well,
of
did
the
you
matter.
instruct Mr. Mahoney to do that? To come to get the petitions notarized?
We'll scroll forward.
Whenever he brought him in, I was instructed that they needed an affidavit with the file.
So he came to the courthouse to get them
He
notarized?
came into my office, submitted the petitions to me, and that's when we
It is-
noticed that he did not have all the affidavits. That's
So
when
you
it
kept
came-
the petitions and clocked them in and you told him to go get an
Did you
affidavit.
keep the petitions or send them with Mahoney?
It was with us.
Okay. So
Okay,
he
so,
went,
okay, so that's.
All right, and just to
he went and
Hopefully,
got the affidavits
we'll
notarized
go
and brought them
forward
back.
to, hopefully that's not too far. And we'll go and, let's move this a little bit.
Well, let me interject while we're looking that when the affidavits were returned, the 48, they had a visible alteration on the face. And that alone should have caused a rejection and a return because they were insufficient.
What was the visible alteration?
Was the insertion, the change of the oath in the area of date set opposite name that signers are supposed to have placed on the petitions.
The date range.
We all know that there was no place for anyone who ever signed to place a date set opposite the name. That is a requirement. Judge Warman found that the election code was to be followed And you can read Judge Warman's opinion on that, and that the election code was violated in areas of the
How did
affidavit.
the affidavit of circulator become older? Very,
Well, the judge
says
said-
that in the ruling that it was taken off-site. We believe that Mr. Blosser, through his testimony, provided him with that single copy. We know that they are duplicates because every one of the date ranges is an identical thing. That it's not written with different handwriting. These were taken off-site and duplicated.
And Judge Warman's
Mr. Blosser,
ruling
how many
also.
affidavit of circulators documents did you give? You gave one. And how many were returned?
Whatever the petitions plus, he instructed me at the time, he had extra ones because he had other petitions coming in.
He had 8.
How many
There
were
50
coming
total
in?
affidavits of
Oh,
circulation.
You gave one, and how many were returned, roughly?
Off the top of my head, I can't, it was more than enough to cover all the absentee,
Okay.
all the petitions that we can submit, plus a few extra.
Well, there were 8 affidavits of circulator notarized by the Prothonotary office that were without petitions and remain without petitions to this day, potentially awaiting being turned in
What's the
by
significance
others.
of the affidavit of circulator being
The-
altered, that
The
document?
affidavit of circulator